Hello everybody and welcome to FEMME FLEX Friday. I am Alina Popa and my co-host today, Lenda Murray, welcome you to our show. Today we have a special guest. We have two-time Miss Bikini Olympia, Angelica Teixeira. Angelica, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Absolutely. We are so honored and we are happy to have you here. You are in the history book of Olympia, right? You got 2 Olympia titles, and here you are in our studio in United States. But I know that it's not always been that easy, hasn't it?
No.
Well, you're originally from Brazil, right?
From Brazil, Minas Gerais. I moved here 11 years ago.
Okay.
And then I started competing 7 years ago, and it was a super tough journey.
Okay. Yeah, I know that you started, when did you start training, actually getting in the culture of fitness, of lifting weights?
I started working out very young. I was 18 years old in Brazil. And so I have been bodybuilding for years, but never thought about competing. So once I moved here, I started from the bottom. I didn't have any English. I didn't know any English at the beginning.
You didn't speak any English when you moved here?
Zero.
Wow.
Yeah, zero.
Amazing.
It took me a while to learn. I never been to school. So I learned like watching TV and trying to talk to people to learn. And, you know, I'm still learning. My English is not perfect, but thank God
you
today
did a great job. You're very fluent.
Thank you. So I got a job in a supermarket, like being a bagger when I first moved to US.
Okay.
Wow, being a bagger.
Being a bagger. Yeah,
because at a grocery store. Okay.
Yeah, I could not do anything else because of my English.
Yes.
I could not communicate. So from that job was the best one for me because I could learn English, start talking to people.
Right.
And really, I called the job like my English school.
Yes.
So it was really good. And
what made you move here to start with, from Brazil to United States?
my husband, he's working in Brazil, transfer him to start working here. At that time, we were just engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, so we stay away like for 2 years. He was going to Brazil every 5 months, 6 months. So it was tough because I was finished college in Brazil.
Okay.
So I could not come right away. But once I finished my college, we got married and I came. So we finally stayed together after 2 years apart.
Okay.
It was super tough. And it was funny because all his friends always said he was working with the police. And, you know, he brought his friends to Brazil and they were like, oh my God, you're a fitness instructor. You're a personal trainer. You're going to make a lot of money in West.
Yes.
When I got here, I'm like, how I'm going to be a personal trainer, fitness instructor if I don't know any English?
Yes.
So I had to start from the bottom. That was okay. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
You know, like I think like I grew so much with that and I learned English. So after like many years when I first came to Texas, like when I came to US. And then I moved to New Jersey after 2 years. And then I started, you know what, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and try to get a job in a gym. And, you know, like start doing class and personal training again. And then everything started to work out. The class started, you know, at the beginning, they didn't believe in me. Like, what are you going to do? But and then the class started to be full. I started getting clients. My English got better. And then I decided to take to the next level and start competing in 2013.
I mean, you set a plan and then apparently, you know, not apparently, obviously, it worked. And I'm happy that you didn't decide to have a career at the grocery store.
Oh, yes, I know.
We wouldn't have had you here.
It's funny because some friends from Texas were walking through the same grocery store.
Really?
I think it was in 2018 when I got in the magazine, like cover of magazine, the Oxygen magazine. And then she took a picture, like, and check
That's so cool.
This is the supermarket that you used to work as a bagger. And now I see you here in the same supermarket in the magazine stands. and you
Very
are the
nice.
cover. I'm like, this is the American dream.
That's American
Wow.
dream.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the first time you got on stage and how did you get there? Like what made you decide to compete? Where did you basically start thinking that, okay, not just that I want to work out in the gym, but I want to compete as well?
Yeah, I start Instagram came out, and I'm like, okay, let me
Okay.
try Instagram, and then I start following people that compete, and I didn't know anything, about the sport before. I just was a fan of the bodies and the physiques, and I knew that I wanted to compete, but I didn't know anything about the divisions. So I was following like someone, and I was like, okay, who is your coach? Oh, my husband. I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, he can be your coach. And then he started prepping me, and with 4 weeks, he got me ready for my first
Wow.
show.
You
That's
prepped
great.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks, but let's say that I wasn't really ready.
So but you've been training. You've been exercising.
Yeah, that's what he
consistently.
said. Yeah, for
so it's
years.
not like you just jumped in and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's
from my
right.
understanding, you wanted to start at 14 years of age, but you were
Yeah.
too young to join a gym, and then you finally got into it and.
When I was 18.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And what division did you compete in?
So he said, okay, you more like a figure because you have quads, because in
Okay.
Brazil,
Okay.
it wasn't about training the upper body. It was all about the legs and
Okay.
the glutes. So we
Really?
used to do some dumbbells for shoulders, but some pull downs, but nothing like, okay, I need to work my upper body. That's why, because the Brazilians always work so much the legs, the glutes. So
You started in figure,
yes,
right?
in
Not
figure.
bikini.
Not bikini.
Okay.
So when I got there, I was like, okay, I didn't know the difference. So I saw the bikini competitors, and I was like, okay.
How did your
I got
first show
this.
go, though?
My first show
Your
was
first
the
show
Atlantic
ever.
State in New York, and was because of my coach at that time
Yeah.
was coming to the show, and he said, "No, this is a great show. It's close to you, so you can do this show." And when I got there, the backstage was full of people. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a little overwhelming." And I saw the bikini girls. I'm like, "Okay, I look like them," and then he said, "No, you're competing against those athletes." I'm
I
like,
see.
oh
Then you look over at the figure competitors
then I
and how
saw the
lean
figure,
and
lean and so much more
Upper
muscle,
body.
and so much more upper body. My lower body was always good, but I could never get the back for figure. And then I was like, oh my God, they have so much more muscle. So we went on stage. I was trying to pose, and I could spin my legs, And then I placed like 16 because I don't really know, because after
Right.
that,
So going into your first show ever, did you have a goal? What was your goal? What were you hoping to place in this show?
Oh, in this show, I thought I was gonna win.
Oh, you so you
That's why I
wanted
tell
to
everybody,
win?
don't go with so much
right?
expectations. Yeah, because I was already a fitness instructor, personal trainer, and all my clients was there to support me. They're all like, "Oh, you're gonna compete, you're gonna win.
Yes.
Oh, can you come watch? You're gonna win." I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
"Okay."
I've
So
seen- I heard that so many times.
They put in my mind that I was gonna win. So when I got there, it was like I placed, I don't know, like maybe last call out.
Okay.
16, after 16, you don't really know how you placed. And it, it started a fire inside of me, like, because I wanted to do just that show to learn the process,
Sure.
help my clients.
Oh, so you just wanted to do one show
and
win and stop competing.
Yes, and stop.
That was
because I
it.
wanted
Yeah,
to
no, that's
learn the
cute.
process.
Win
Yeah.
and stop.
Win and stop, because I like to eat, like at that time, even more now, I'm used to being on a diet because it's been 7 years. But at that time, I was like, oh my God, this diet's so hard in 4 weeks.
Well, I'm really
It's
happy.
4 weeks.
I'm really happy that you didn't win, because we wouldn't have had you here, right?
Yeah, that's
You would have
right.
stopped.
Yeah.
So you didn't place as you wanted. That stroke of fire in your heart, right? So you were like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
What was your next goal? So you said, I gotta get back, right?
Yeah, my next goal was like, so now I want to take that picture. I want to be in the top 5.
So
And I
how
was
did
like,
it go? Next step?
For my third show, it was
Third show,
probably
okay.
like 2 weeks after, so short period. I was like, I started looking online and watching. I'm like, oh, let me see what are those girls that I think I look more like them than,
Yeah.
the figure.
Right.
I'm like, I think maybe it would be easier to put my body, similar to a bikini competitor than figure. So I start watching the posing, and I'm like, oh my God, I really like this. I felt that I could show a little more my personality. But I decided to do both. On that third show, I crossed over. I did figure and
I see.
bikini.
So you did both.
So you
I
do
did
feel
both,
that you
yes.
have more expression, freedom of expressing yourself in the bikini division as opposed to figure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. First, because for figure was everything so new for me and so much more,
Yes,
because you
I
8 times
understand.
Miss Olympia
Yes, I
inspires
understand as
us
far as
so
the-
much. So, it's more about the posing, more techniques that I didn't learn. But for bikini, I was kind of like, they told me, oh, you don't
flowing,
need to flex anything.
right?
You already have like a good amount of muscle. Don't flex, just flow, just good. And I'm like, oh my God.
Don't flex, just flow. I
yeah,
like
just
it.
flow,
Don't
you know?
flex, just
Yeah.
flow.
So what's the definite, is there a definite distinction? I know that show you did both bikini and figure. Is there a definite distinction in regards to the diet and training? Because the first one you said you only dieted for 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yes.
So you were in great shape.
I was, yes.
You were obviously
it was
in great
just like
shape.
a cutting diet those 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But I saw after I discovered bikini and I placed second, I was like, okay, this is what I love. I fell in love again with bodybuilding, and I was like, I want to do this, and then start growing, all the goals in my mind, because I
Right.
really loved that time on stage. And
I see.
so I had to kind of like bring a little of the muscle that I had in my quads down.
I
and
see.
This is not easy. So everything else was perfect for bikini, but kind of like trying to shrink my quads a little.
But so you were at this like MPC level, okay, of local level, and you started to be successful, right? So I know that in the United States, once you get past the NPC local show, then you're gonna head to your pro card, which is a national show, right? It's
Yes.
either USA's, Team Universe, Junior USA's, right, or
Yes.
nationals, right? So these are the shows. I also know, as an immigrant, a foreigner myself, right, that unless you're American or you have a green card, you cannot compete at a national show.
Yeah.
So obviously at that point, I think you said that you didn't have your citizenship yet, right?
Yes, I had my green card, but we
Okay.
cannot even do a national show.
Oh, okay.
Being a green card holder.
Okay, so you
Now
needed to be a
Now
citizen.
rules changed. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you, even if you wanted to get your pro card, you didn't have the opportunity in the United States, right?
Yes,
At that
no,
point. So
no.
how did you go about it?
After I qualified, after the show, I was like, okay, I'm qualified for bikini, for nationals. And then I was like, but I read the rules. And
Okay.
I was like, I can't do it.
So you couldn't
I
do
made-
nationals.
Yes.
I see.
I was about to book my flight and hotel for nationals in Miami.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was, I was right there, and I was like, okay, I can't do it. So I emailed the NPC, and they told me like, okay, I heard if you, it wasn't sure at that time because everything was so new. But
Yes.
there was, there were other athletes, Brazilian, that got like the pro card this way.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, let's give an example. Natalia Mello, she won 1 overall and applied for Brazil for the federation, and they award.
So yeah, I
the pro
do
card.
have some experience with that because I used to compete in Europe before I moved to the United States, right? So I know that a lot of the American athletes are not aware of the procedure or the way it used to be, because now in the end of 17, IFBB Professional League in the United States, it was separated from what was later called IFBB Elite
Yes.
Pro,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So before that, there used to be one federation worldwide.
Yes.
And I know that for non-American athletes, you were supposed to, if, for example, I qualify for my pro card winning the overall, the world championship overall. So there were not a lot of opportunities for international athletes to qualify for a pro card. There was only one. So
Yeah,
literally it
that's
was
right.
the
It was only
overall,
one.
the overall,
Only
one
one.
per year, the
Yeah.
overall of the world championship. So
I see.
because of
Yeah.
this situation,
Wow.
Super hard.
the way it was going on, it was your national federation was supposed to recommend you to IFBB in the United States for a pro card
Yeah.
based on your achievements. Let's say you got top 5 at the European show or top 5 in a world championship.
So it's either just
right?
by either you winning the world
that
champion
one
or
year,
recommendation.
or recommendation from your
Yes.
national federation. So this is when your situation came into place, right? Because you went to the professional Brazilian federation asking them to recommend you for a pro card based on your results in the shows, local shows in the United States.
Yes.
And they said what?
And then they said, okay, if you win 3, 4 overalls, we can award you the pro
They
card.
said 3 or 4 overalls
Yeah,
in
3 or
Brazil.
4 overalls in US.
Local shows.
Because
LLC
I
shows.
explained that I was living here, I could go to Brazil
So you
to be
couldn't
there
go,
competing.
yes.
So they said, okay, if you win 3 or 4, we can award you your pro card.
And you proceeded, how many did you win in the end?
I won in 2014 8 first place.
Okay.
And 4 overalls. But they said, and then I made the NPC and the Brazilian Federation, and they said, oh, you know what, like one of those shows are not big enough. And,
So they literally
Wow.
rejected you.
they rejected.
So then what did they say? Did they give you an option to that?
Yeah, and then they said, oh, if she win 1 or 2 more, we'll get it. And then I started my next season in 2015. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I can do this.
Wow.
You know, that goal, I was like, I'm not going to give up. So I started my season. I won a show in New York, a big show in New York, the Steve Stone Metropolitan.
Yes.
It's a huge show.
Oh, Steve Stone.
Yeah, Steve
Yes.
Stone. Yes.
We know Steve.
So I won that show, and then the weekend after, I went to the bigger show in New Jersey, and it was the John Kemper, and I won overall there too. So back to back, you know, in 2 weekends, and then I sent the letter, and they said, "Oh, now you can come to Brazil and compete at the Arnold because I need you to compete at least once in Brazil, so we can say." I'm like, okay. I'm gonna go and do it. So I went to Brazil, did the Arnold, placed top 3. I was 3rd place in Brazil.
At the Arnold Amateur. Okay.
Yes, and then I came back and I was
So
like,
did you
okay.
get your card?
I'm like, okay, what about now? They said, oh no,
Wow.
we deny
Still
your
not.
card
Whoa.
because and this was already like two years, you know, in this journey of, you know, trying to get
So what
overalls
happened? Like, how
and
did you get it
then
eventually?
first place. And then they say, no, we have to deny it because you could, you know, go through all the right process that we go in Brazil, doing the novice,
So they wanted you to go back to Brazil
go back to Brazil and start
and
all over.
start from zero, like all those
zero.
local shows you did in the United States.
Like
you were supposed to do.
novice,
Okay.
states, and then national, and then if I qualify for Arnold, like you said, and then they would like give me my pro
So
card.
how did it end up eventually?
So I translate the email and sent to President Emmanuel.
Okay.
And he answered me like, no, this is not possible. You deserve to be a pro.
You know, he probably recognized the potential,
He
right?
did. And he was following this journey
Okay.
because I mailed the NPC since the beginning.
Right.
So he was following, you know, like my fight to
You
get
were
this pro
obviously, I
card.
mean, it was so easy to see that, you know, like many local American athletes, they win one overall, and when they win their class,
That's
and
right.
if they're as good as, you know, like you, if you were American, you would have gone to nationals,
Like
get
way
the
sooner.
overall, so
Yeah.
in like
And
in
that
2-3
would've been it.
shows, you would have gotten your pro card.
Yes.
Yet here you are with 20 shows under your belt and no pro card. So it was very obvious that you need a pro card. So you got your pro card, right, at that point.
Yes, I
And
did.
then you started your pro career. And I know that your first Olympia was in 2015, right?
2015.
And you
that's right.
finished 31st.
Oh my God, yes.
31st.
I felt like, oh my God, now I'm a pro, but I'm not really sure if this, you know, is for me anymore because the pro level is another level. We all know.
Obviously.
And I was kind of like,
So what
used
was
to
missing?
winning.
What was missing at that point?
So because I was on that journey of getting overalls and then I got my
Yes.
pro card.
Yeah.
And then I did like three pro shows to qualify for the Olympia.
Yeah.
So I think my body was too fast and
Okay.
I ended up
Yeah.
being too depleted.
Oh, yeah,
So
your
the
metabolism
feedback,
was very high, yeah.
The feedback from the judge was that I was, you know, with a depleted look and a little too hard, too lean for bikini.
Yeah,
yeah,
So
I
to
see.
come in a little, you know, nice and full with fuller muscles. So I was like, okay.
And then in
I know.
2016, next year,
That was amazing.
she placed second at the Olympia.
Yeah.
I mean, from 31st to second.
To second.
It's a huge jump.
Yes.
So you attribute this huge jump to changing your diet, changing your coach, changing the approach, right?
Yeah, the
Changing
posing,
everything.
everything, even the stage presence. And also because I knew that I was doing the right thing because for that first Olympia, I look in the mirror and I didn't really like what I see. So
Yeah,
I
you
was
talking
like,
about-
I'm
yeah.
too lean, I
Yeah.
don't like this and that. But for the next year, when I look in the mirror, I was like, wow, I feel good.
Okay.
So the confidence changed. And when I came on stage, it showed. The judges could see that I was happy to be on
Yes.
stage, that I was happy with my
Wow.
package. And, you know, the way I moved on stage, everything changed. And so
31st to what? To third to second.
Second, yeah.
Second.
And within a year.
With a year.
Not only
Within a
that,
year.
but the following in 17 and 18, you were the Miss
She won.
Bikini Olympia, right? So you won.
I won the next
So,
year.
and you're Miss
I
Olympia.
know.
So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then in 2019, you got third.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Two last minute, I was feeling my best.
Okay.
And my coach said, like, okay, this is the best you ever looked. But being Miss Olympia for 2 years in a row was a
Yes.
lot of pressure.
It's a lot of
I
pressure.
think you know
Yes,
that
I
because
know
you've been Miss
exactly.
Olympia 8 times. Oh
Yes.
my God, yeah, a dream.
Yeah.
And you
But,
started also traveling a lot for your sponsors, right?
Yeah, so that year in 2018, I finished the Olympia, and then after that, I took the whole year off. I didn't do the
Okay.
Arnold like I did the
I see.
the other
I see. You
years.
just did the O in
Yeah, I
in
took the
2019.
whole year to represent the sport, travel
Yeah.
internationally, and represent my sponsors. And but it's still okay. It was a longer off season, but I was always on top of my training, my diet, and I came in like very good. But last moment, like the day of the show, it was so much pressure that I felt that backstage.
Yes.
I started getting nervous.
Uh-huh.
As the champion, you are the last one to pose, and the pressure of being Miss Olympia. and-
Sure. So of 2017 and 2018, I'm sure that 2017 was probably, if I have to say the best, which one was the best? 2017 is like you won it, right?
Yeah.
And so there was no pressure on you as to the previous winner. Who was the previous Miss Bikini in 2016?
Courtney King. She actually
was under
did not do the
she
show.
didn't compete
Yeah,
in
she
it.
didn't compete because I placed second the year before.
I see.
It was already a lot of pressure, and it was my dream. So I felt the pressure,
Yeah.
but it was a little less because I was like, okay, if I win, they will be amazing, but if not, I'll keep trying.
Okay.
But in 2018 was a lot of more pressure because once I became Miss Olympia,
Yep.
it was just, it was not just saying the world, oh, okay, I'm the best physique in the world. It was more, it is still more than that for me. It's representing the sport, it's representing the division and making sure, that I welcome the new girls coming. So
Wow.
it was more than that. I was
Yes.
going to local shows, and I was doing that before I became Miss Olympia. But once I got the title, when I got to the shows, I loved people,
Yeah,
and they were
yeah.
all coming to me,
Well,
and I was like, "Oh my God!"
I'm really glad to hear that. Glad to
Yeah.
hear that you feel a responsibility because
I
you
did.
are you're Miss Olympia.
And
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
and to
great.
be able to inspire people that, come on, you can lose. You can, it's okay to lose. Everybody do. In life, you're not
Absolutely.
always gonna win.
That's
You know,
right.
at a point in life, you're gonna lose something. So it's up to you to be able to get up on your feet and believe in yourself and keep fighting and go there and get to the top again. So
Yes.
that's definitely my goal for this year.
That's definitely
Yes.
a great definition of a champion, and you are a true champion.
Thank
I
you.
have to say you are a
Thank
true
you.
champion, and I
Thank you
want to
so
thank
much.
you for sharing your beautiful story with us, coming all the way from Brazil to be here. Starting from grocery store and being
Yes, I
begging stuff, right? It's literally you are the definition of the American dream come true, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yes.
Thank you
And
for
guys,
having me. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
And
Awesome.
It was a
congratulations.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Looking forward
And
to seeing
good
you on
luck this
stage in
year.
December.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Guys, thank you for being with us today, and catch us on our next episode of FEMME FLEX Friday.